Greetings, everyone.
Hello, hello.
You are watching The Holistic Entrepreneur Live. We are your hosts,
Christopher Lim.
Oliver Manalise. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all doing well.
Yes, sir.
Chris, cheers.
Oliver.
Nice late
Cheers.
episode today.
Yeah, very well. Yes, it is pretty late. Be a quick one.
Yeah,
A nice one.
a nice one. If this is the first time you're watching, The Holistic Entrepreneur is really all about this new wave of entrepreneurs who really care about the quality of their relationships, the quality of their health, their sense of work and life balance.
Work-life balance. Yeah, the encompassing the entire life.
The
Like,
all-encompassing life.
all-encompassing.
Where wealth is not just the number in your bank account, it's all of these things combined. And then there's no real destination, it's just constantly always working and growing and
Yes.
improving on. Hold on a second here. So if you guys got to catch our last episode, we had Scott Bradley on. We also have guests on the show from time to time. We like to have some great holistic entrepreneurs as people we can draw from for some wisdom, for some insight from their perspective, I guess, as their own entrepreneur, journey unfolds
Yeah,
on the interwebs. We all get to watch, so we'd like to share that with you guys too.
absolutely.
Yeah, man. So what's been new since the last time we talked?
Since the last time we spoke, we had Mr. Bradley on. And the week before that that was my birthday, right?
Yeah.
So,
and then last week was my birthday.
and last week was your birthday. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of fitting that we're doing another guest list show.
Yeah.
This time I can interview you. People might want to know a little bit more about you.
Shit, why not?
We can do a little bit of that. We can talk a little bit about our experiences today, as into what we were doing and why we were late with the show.
And some of
That'd
the
be pretty
lessons.
good. Some of the lessons that were learned. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't know what else.
So yeah, we should have told people, find out why we were late today.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Why it's not
So
8 p.m.
we originally were supposed to have a guest, and we'll have the guest next week.
Next week. Yeah.
Next week, we'll talk
We'll talk
this.
about him later,
We'll
yeah.
talk about it later. So we were supposed to originally have a guest, but we ended up getting tickets to a premiere because the new Bourne movie is premiering tomorrow. But we were supposed to get some advance tickets for this evening
Yeah.
from Volkswagen. It's actually because we both drive Volkswagens and part of this Volkswagen club, so they send us free shit. So we were supposed to watch the movie at 7, and was going to directly interfere with the guest.
The schedule tonight.
Tonight. So we were either going to try to do something earlier or something later, and we're very easy. It doesn't really matter to us. So we decided, okay, maybe we'll just do a smaller show. We'll do it maybe later tonight. We'll do it another time. Whatever.
Yeah.
So we were going to go watch the show, and it was supposed to start at 7. And I guess bring up one of those first lessons, which I'd mentioned that the reason we missed the show is because it wasn't high enough on my priority list to actually look at where the location was, time out traffic, time out the destination and the route. I wanted to watch the movie, but it wasn't high enough on my priority list to actually make it worth it for me to schedule it out.
So there's things that I guess if you could probably relate, and I guess people watching, if they have ever had situations where they're delaying or procrastinating or not really just looking at the fine details.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not important to you.
So maybe it's not.
You don't care enough.
I didn't
Yeah.
care. I mean, I really wanted to watch the show, but there were other stuff that were more important that needed to get done, and I
Yeah.
had to get done. Put my attention on those things, and that's
And unfortunately, we had to delay the show.
unfortunately because
So, apologize for that.
So anyway, sorry to progress with the story. So we ended up going. We were late, and the movie.
No, we
theater,
were on time.
Well, no,
We
that's
were on
true.
time.
We were on
It was
time
just
to the
capacity.
movie start,
It was just
but
capacity.
the capacity of the theater had already been exceeded, or was already at
It
full
was like
capacity.
first come.
First come, first serve. So,
And I thought there was like a guest list. That was special.
but then on top of
Not
that, I didn't
special
even
enough.
have the printed out tickets.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to print out the tickets. I thought they'd be able to just scan it off the iPhone. But so anyway, I guess another lesson is when you make plans, read those details.
Yeah,
Find
you
out
know
what you're
what?
actually getting yourself
Because
into.
as entrepreneurs, we're always the ones who are the visionaries and looking at things from 30,000 feet above. And you're looking at things, in a broad sense, long term, big vision all the time. And sometimes we need help
Yeah.
to look at the fine details. That's why a lot of entrepreneurs end up getting assistants and having to build like an administrative staff to look at those fine details where they're in charge of, the big, massive
Yeah.
types of decisions.
The big decisions.
So
the
as an
overall
entrepreneur,
vision
where
of the company.
it's hard to like constantly shift back and forth. But when you're a solopreneur, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
That's your job.
Yeah.
Like that's why you get paid the big bucks.
Exactly.
Is to pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or pay somebody to pay attention to those details.
So if it's important to you, fucking pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So anyway, we ended up, I guess, moving on to the next lesson that we learned today was instead of flipping out, cursing, doing all this, all that,
It could have been a downward
Yeah,
spiral.
could be like, oh fuck, we drove all this
We
way.
missed it. It was so far. We drove
Yeah.
40
minutes?
kilometers or something like that.
It's like 40.
Yeah,
yeah,
far.
40,
because there's
45
only one
minutes.
theater that's doing it.
Yeah, because it's not every theater. It was just select theaters around the area were doing it. I think another one was Barrie. So I'm like, okay, we're not going to Barrie.
Yeah, that's far.
That would have been an hour and a half. So this was the closest theater. So we took the time, gas, the whole shebang to get out there, and we weren't able to get it because full theater. I didn't even have the tickets printed out, and we could have flipped out. We could have just been. Oliver just could have been pissed off at me, fucking wasting my time. Gas, I gotta pick you up, and all this shit. So,
Oh, trust me, I was thinking it.
yeah,
But I have
But-
more restraint.
yeah. But instead, we
No.
just thought, you know what? Let's make the day of it. We've got some freaking time. Let's go do some stuff. So we ended up having dinner. Good conversation.
And talked about the whole entrepreneur talk.
We talked about actually getting home and doing the show because if we would have been in the theater, I think it would have been ending just about now.
Yeah, we would be doing a later
It
show.
would have been a later show.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
that.
Yeah, but it's okay,
Yeah.
man. I mean, you know what? Like, things happen for not. I don't like saying things happen for a reason.
No, they're
but
not
just
for a reason.
things happen.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be outside of your control. And I was doing a talk today for a group, and I was talking about success, and success being something that people always strive towards, and they're chasing some clients or they're chasing opportunities, and what they want is that success. And so what I was sharing with the group, and I was grateful for the opportunity. They have this huge network all across Ontario, referral
so, yeah.
referral quest,
Ontario.
and it's just an opportunity for me to speak about success and how inner work, self knowledge can help you accelerate your ability to achieve the success that you want. And that's one of the things that happen when you're trying to achieve success is that you're gonna see these obstacles come in front of you.
In life, that's life. Life happens,
life.
man. Doesn't always go as planned.
Yeah, that's when
Yeah.
things turn sideways.
When things turn sideways, yeah. And you know what? When things turn sideways, as an entrepreneur, you got to go with it. You got to go with it because it's going to happen. It's always going to happen, and that's part of being an entrepreneur. Like that's the reason you get into entrepreneurialism is so you have those challenges, those things happen in your life. So it forces you to keep on your toes.
I think it's also important because you have to. It's like you're forced to be exposed. As an employee, you are not. You're shielded.
You're shielded, yeah.
From everything that's happening entrepreneurially, which is the risk taking, which is the getting the rejection, which is putting out tons of fires.
Yeah.
If you're an
Keeping a
entrepreneur,
pulse on the market.
you're the one doing all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So you're completely exposed, and it's you're using so much of your energy, your time, your intellect just to be a market expert, to be a product expert, to be customer service, to be sales, to be admin, to be when you're a small business, you're wearing a lot of different hats.
A lot, yeah.
So
Especially when you're starting.
yeah, especially when you're starting. So that's the riskiest period, and that's when you're gonna face the when am I gonna get my next paycheck?
Yeah.
Who's the next client gonna be? Where am I?
Yeah. What are the things I need to be doing? Am I doing those things?
Did I make a bad decision?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, because it's all on your shoulder. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that couple of really important lessons that came up today, and it was good to realize them. And we did go with the flow. Ended up having some dinner. Went and excuse me, got a new pair of boots for the winter, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we decided, you know what?
You do your shopping
Let's go home.
early. Jeez.
Getting to about that time, man.
Yeah.
August.
It's still
Starting to get
summer.
cold.
So it's making you think of getting winter boots.
I'm trying to prepare.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, just trying to be prepared. So yeah, and then we decided, we'll go home, chill for a little bit, then do the show in a couple, and then here it is.
Decompress to reflect on the day.
Yeah, got some stuff done, and then right into the show.
Yeah, perfect.
Absolutely. So, anything else you want to discuss? That was our day, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was the evening.
That was our evening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had that talk earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So is that something you're looking to do more of? Because where was it?
It was in Mississauga.
Oh, it was just local.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like it was at this retirement. It was like a retirement center where
okay.
I guess they rented out like a room,
okay.
for breakfast. You have
Yeah.
small breakfast there, and they have this long table. I think it fit like 12, 15 people.
Nice.
And there's people from a lot of different industries. So you'll have people who are, maybe they're in insurance, or they're in the legal profession, or they have franchises, or they have websites that they own, or they sell. There's a lot of different services and a lot of different industries that each group represents. So if you go to a meeting in one area, there's different chapters.
Yeah.
It's going to be completely different than another chapter. The people
Right.
are going to be different. The different industry is going to be different. So I've always wanted to speak, and,
Right.
and just I always, that's what this is for, right? It's just just
It's
speaking
an outlet
more,
to get in front of people. Yeah.
an outlet to just chat more about the philosophies that we talk about, right? About holistic entrepreneurship. And so I was just sharing with them, pretty much I just tried to condense it to like a short 10-minute conversation, just to get them thinking.
Yeah.
And get them thinking about overcoming obstacles and adversity.
As a holistic entrepreneur.
Yeah,
that's
as a
what you just-
holistic entrepreneur, just knowing that when you face it, it's there to amplify everything that you're doing. You become so heightened.
Yeah.
You're like hyper vigilant and hyper aware of everything.
Yeah.
Because you're super stressed, and it's like you start to notice everything that's going wrong. In one way it can serve you. Sometimes it's like, oh, you don't want to be so stressed out, but in one way it could actually serve you.
Yeah.
Because you see things in like this perspective where it's like there's all these different things that are happening, but the most important things stick out the most.
Yes.
And they're amplified and they hurt the most.
And those are things you got to take care of first.
Yeah, and those are the things that you got to take care of first.
Yeah, we discussed that a little bit about your business. You got to take care of this before it opens up, before the floodgates open and everything else can progress. There are these things that you got to do so that you can let business flow. Let it flow.
Exactly.
And take care of those things. Absolutely. And those are, as holistic entrepreneurs, being able to sit and take a look and realize, okay, what are those things? What are the things that I need to work on? Whether it's yourself, whether it's in your business, whether it's in relationships, whatever it is. What's the talk that I have to have with myself, or the talk I have to have with somebody else, or
what is the action
what's the
item?
change?
Or
Yeah.
what's the change? What's the distinction? What is the decision? It's usually the choice that you have to make.
Yeah, what's the choice I gotta
Yeah.
make about something? Nice.
Completely.
Fantastic. So it was a good group?
It was a good group. I wasn't sure what kind of response I was gonna get. My intention was just to kind of I guess open up their mind a little bit. Maybe they are actually that's. I completely assumed, right, that was the case, but it was so funny. For the rest of the meeting, that's all we talked about was the topics. No, not about holistic entrepreneur, just about the topics that I had discussed.
Oh, okay.
There's one guy, he's a franchise owner, and he's been, he's had tons of coaching and has worked with top people for his workouts. He's worked with Olympians. He's
Cool.
He's doing a lot of different things, and he was just talking about the value of having that type of that inner work, that balance. And I'm just like, oh wow, I didn't realize that this conversation would continue. I wasn't sure what people are thinking, because usually they're coming here like, I want referrals, I want to meet people so that I get leads.
Yeah.
That's the intention, right?
Right.
I mean, it's in a good forum, and you're there to learn, you're there to network and build relationships.
Right.
And every time there's always a speaker, and you can get some good value from the actual meetings.
That's awesome. So we discussed that a little bit about sort of the entrepreneurial now, or the entrepreneur now, where if you're an entrepreneur now, and especially if you're a holistic entrepreneur, we were discussing a little bit about to be a holistic entrepreneur now these days, you have to have self-work.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to be able to look at yourself, and you got to be able to do self-development. So it's great for a lot of those people to come to that talk, this group, this meeting, and be able to talk about the ideas with each other.
Yeah, because we're talking about, what workshops and courses are you taking right now?
Wow.
What
fantastic.
books are you reading right now? And then we get to do, we have bonus questions, and it's like, oh, I hope I'm not like releasing some sort of trade secret about the group. I don't know. Sorry, Joe. But yeah, we have like a bonus question that everyone gets to answer.
Oh,
and,
cool.
like, so you talk about who you are, what you're doing, what your business is, and then they ask you a bonus question. And today, because of the conversation that I had with them, I think it inspired the bonus question, which was, what is one major failure, and what did you learn from it in your life?
Wow.
Or in your
so
business.
that was
Or
the
in your
question.
business. Yeah.
And everybody had to answer.
Yeah,
Or
and
gets the
everyone
answer.
answers it.
Yeah.
Like we take turns.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you know what? There was one guy, and he talked about publishing a book. You never know what kind of value you're gonna walk out with, and you don't know who's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you're just hearing stuff from different industries when you're just stuck in your own, like, you have your blinders on, just on your business and on your industry.
Yeah.
This guy's talking about book writing, and like eventually down the road that's something I'm interested in. And he was talking about how he wasted 18 months of his life trying to get a literary agent to work with,
Wow.
only to realize that literary agents will only work with previously successful authors
Wow.
because of the spread, because of how much money they would make.
Yeah.
Think about a brand new author, how many questions, how many, how much guidance, how much, like they have to spend so much time, invest so much time for how much money,
Yeah.
right? Where they have a book of clients that are selling thousands of books. And 18 months, this guy was,
Wow.
he said
Looking for an agent.
He said he completely wasted 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So his major lesson was, you got to really, when you're writing a book, you don't need a literary agent in the beginning. Like, you could choose self-publishing, do something else.
Right.
Don't look at someone who's, they have no incentive to work with you. And like if that was my intention to do it tomorrow, I know not to make that mistake.
Right.
So you never know what kind of value you're going to get from these meetings.
Interesting.
And I said that on Facebook the other day, where it's like, everyone in your life, there's something to learn from everyone. It doesn't matter who it is. And everything too, in every situation, there's always something to learn.
Very cool. Very cool. So, what was the question again?
What was the
failures?
biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Wow. So, were there any other really good ones? What was yours?
Mine?
What did you discuss?
I didn't do it because I talked about it already when I did my talk.
Okay.
Right? So I didn't go at the end, like I already pretty much explained mine. But I guess like closing down the Rent Busters, closing it down, I guess that's a failure. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I just don't see it that way, though.
I don't really see it as
I mean,
a failure.
I like technically closing it down is it's closing the business down. Like, it's not going forward.
Right.
So, but like, would I go back to myself like 3-4 years ago and say, by the way, in a couple years you're gonna shut this business down? And would that version of me just be like, I'm just gonna skip that and do something else,
Right?
Or just just screw it. I need to make these mistakes. I need to learn it.
You need to learn, yeah.
And with the wisdom and knowledge I have now, I would just let it happen. Do it the way it played out.
Yeah.
Just because of the like what we learned about, we did it all on our own. Like there was no
Everything.
Yeah, and there was like the model, like the material, the content, like everything was new. It was like a new industry. It's very very niche market, and it was like we were going after like the hardest shit, and we were able to make good money out of it.
Yeah.
And made success out of it and built a reputation and all that, and learn how to build systems and marketing and sales and building relationships with people. So much stuff that if I never had those experiences, I don't know, my perspective would be so different right now.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
we would be completely different.
We would be completely different.
Completely different people. Yeah.
So I guess, you know what? It doesn't matter what it is. It's just there's something to learn. You might have to make a new decision,
Right.
you know?
I think, well, could you also see it maybe as failure is really another person's perception of.
Yeah, it would be a way for you to understand of what like what this is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like that's what you would define it as.
Right.
Like would be seen as a failure. Whereas for me, it was a choice, and that's what the entire presentation was about. So the first point was the obstacles, which I was talking about. The second point was belief, and you could be like when you're faced with obstacles. Let's give the example of Andrew. Okay, Andrew McDonald is going to be on the show next week, and I'm sure he doesn't mind us sharing the story because he's going to be on next week anyways.
Sure.
Right?
We can discuss a little bit about it. We'll let him talk about it himself.
Yeah, like I won't go over
first person.
Oh yeah, I won't go over it too much, but I guess to entice your interest as well. This guy, he's been working so hard at his job, okay, and he has a side business that he'll be mentioning when he comes on here. He has a side business that he wants to turn full time and be a full time entrepreneur. And the biggest obstacle in his way was the fact that he wasn't putting any time into it anymore, right? So he's not seeing the results in that business because he wasn't able to put the time in because the rest of his time was put in the job. And he was in the perfect situation, like not the perfect situation, but I mean he was in a good situation to do the transition.
Yeah.
Okay. And he'll go into more detail when he comes on, and I'm sure you'll be able to relate to him. It's taken him a year, right, to try and reach this decision, but the primary difference was just his belief. You know, it's like if you want something, you would already have it, or you would already be going after it, or doing
you're already working
everything
towards
it takes to get it. And that's a choice, and that's a lot. That's what you believe. That's what you believe. You believe that you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And same thing goes for the other way. If you're not pursuing it, if you're delaying what your goal is, delaying what your dream is, what you feel you deserve, you really don't believe it. You have chosen not to believe in your dream. You know, and there are so many factors that are going on. Here's the facts. Which is, you know, this is the bad decisions that you made, or this is the fire that you got to put out, or this is how much money you got in the bank, and this is how much, you know, this is how much time you could survive if you went full time as an entrepreneur. These are facts. And then you can go by, it's like, these are my emotions. Like, what is your body saying? When I'm in my job, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
My head's full of junk of like the crap that's happening in the office and the stuff that people put on me,
stuff that
and
my
projections of other people. I'm projecting them as, you know, just like worker bees and people who are, you know, not aware or uninteresting, or
you're surrounding yourself with these people.
Yeah, and so you're consumed by this it's pure toxic. Okay, so that's what your body's saying, and your body's also saying that when you started this new venture, the first 90 days you have so much success because you're all fired up about it. You know? And you feel good.
Yeah.
So what's your body saying? What are the facts? Stack them up together. They only point in one direction. But it's you who chooses to go the other way. You know?
Making a conscious decision.
If this is stacked, but you're choosing the other way. The only reason you would go the other way is if you don't believe that you can fucking do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know? And that's why it takes that inner work.
Yes.
Because if you go through the entire process, it's not the outside stuff that you're after. all those are just the effect of it.
Absolutely, yeah, it is. All of the outside stuff, all the success, being the entrepreneur, it is the effect of working on yourself first, because you're not going to be able to get out there and succeed and do things the way you want to do them, and do things when you need to do them and how you want to do them, unless you got the belief inside first, unless you changed on the inside first. So once you change on the inside, then the rest will take care of itself. Very cool.
And that was sort of what happened with the Rent Busters, and I have to be honest about it, because as soon as I realized I was writing in my journal in March, I just started writing. It's like, what's going on? This is not the level of success that I thought we'd be able to. I thought we'd be able to achieve more, and I thought we'd be more passionate, or I thought I'd be taking much more action than I am. I'm procrastinating more. I'm not as driven about it. How could this all be, right? And then it's just you just by deduction, it's just I don't believe it anymore.
You don't believe? Yeah.
It's not not aligned with it. I don't believe it anymore. If you don't believe it, then you don't believe it, and it'll show up. Your clients will. They might not know exactly what it is. You don't believe it.
Yeah.
But there's something different. You don't believe it anymore. Your clients smell it. The people around you smell it. All your relationships. They will notice somehow. There'll be that subtlety of it's not as chip as it used to be. Not as excited or outgoing or whatever it is. Something changes.
Yeah.
And without the awareness and without the work, how are you gonna pass that obstacle? How are you gonna get through it?
Absolutely.
You're just gonna run around and see that same obstacle come at you again, and you won't until you learn the lesson. You're just
unless you take care of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's a loop. It just goes back.
Absolutely. Incredible. So, your birthday just passed. Anything life-changing? Any big ideas?
So,
big changes? Big revelations?
One of the biggest things that I did this year I've never done before was writing down writing down a list. I just wanted to kind of take an inventory of what I want more of in my life and what I want less of.
Nice.
In my life. I never did this before, but it's a T-chart. You just go like that. Line. 2 lines. One side is more, one side is less. And I just put more of this, less of that.
Nice.
So I want more free time. I want to do more vacations. I want less body fat. I want less time wasters. And just went off. And it was just a good, it's not something that, for me, it was just good to just clear it. So you have this intention now. I have this intention for being, when I'm 27 years old, this is my intention.
Nice.
To have more of this and less of that. And then I went over just what are the major things that I want to have in the next 12 months, in the next year. Right? And I've always done it in the New Year's, but never for before a birthday to really reflect. So that was the first time I've done that. And this year, I guess the scariest thing and the part that's outside of my comfort zone and the revelation is that power of choice. I've always wanted to travel long term, and it's been years since I've wanted that.
Yeah.
And I've wanted it so badly.
Yeah, you've spoken about it a lot.
A lot. And it's never happened. I've never gone and done that long ass trip. And now I have that possibility in reach, right within reach. I'm able to achieve it. I can do it. And there won't be any issues, financially, especially, and I could set it up. And that is freaking scary, because I look at the perspective of where my mind was December 2011 and where my mind will be December 2012, and what has changed. It's a lot.
It's gonna be a lot.
I can't even believe that much has changed, because the trips that I'm planning, and for me it's hard to commit to stuff unless it gets closer, but so far my trips, if it all pans out, which I think they will, I'll be home for like between now and the end of the year just for like 2 months. So the rest of the time,
That's
I'll
crazy.
the rest of the time I'll be away.
So it's August, September, October, November, December.
Well, yeah. So out of the next 4 or 5 months, I'll be,
You'll be
home for two.
That's amazing.
Two of them, or whatever it is. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know the math, but I
Something
know
like that.
like October we're leaving. We're going to Trinidad,
Trinidad, yeah.
and then I'll be going to Costa Rica after, and I won't be back until December.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm almost all of October and November. I'll be
Amazing.
gone.
Amazing. So these are intentions that you put into your life
Long time
long
ago.
time ago.
Yeah,
And for a long time, you have been fighting doing some of these things, committing to some of these trips.
yeah, because there's other things that were important, that were priority.
Yes.
Like we were talking about. Like if it's important, you're gonna get it done, and if it's not important, I don't know. Like if it's not important and you're not doing it, you're procrastinating. Like the natural feeling is to just feel so guilty about not getting it done yet. Like, oh, why am I taking so long? But in reality, if you're self-aware enough, I think you'll just realize that, oh well, it's just not at the top of my list right now. It's a priority, but
Yes.
not right now.
Right.
So don't feel guilty about it because the time will come. Because there's stuff you have to start recognizing what is the thing on the top of the list that you got to take care of. And for me, it's like, I mean, the business change, right? And like committing to the real estate career, and there's so much like all this new change and new decisions.
Yeah.
So I had to get some of that stuff sorted out of the way and before this possibility is even
Came up.
Yeah, even there. And now it's like I could achieve a whole combination of things. So it's like it's aligned. Like there's a lot of personal development involved in these trips.
Yep.
There's a lot of exploration. There's a lot of like physical activity, like learning how to surf, yoga, like there's so many things. It's a holistic type of travel, type
Yeah.
of
Absolutely.
mini retirement that I want to do.
Fantastic.
And now I'm just like, oh, I'm so happy and I'm so grateful, and I know that like when I don't even know who I will be when I come back.
Yeah.
Like
Different
the
person.
experiences,
Yeah.
the people that I'm gonna
That's
meet.
going to change you.
I know. Then the decisions
changes
and
you.
distinctions. There's gonna be so much.
So from when you started making these intentions a couple years back to the point where you're at now, where it's reality. It's 90. You're 95% going to your next trip. You're 95% going to Trinidad. I mean, these things are like 90, 95, 99%.
Yeah, they're high.
The chances of them are going through, barring some sort of disaster, Costa
Yeah,
Rica blows up,
exactly.
something like that. So
No, don't say that.
from where you were when you started intending these things a couple years back to this point where you're at now, how much work did you do, and what kind of work did you do? Did you find that obviously a lot of it had to be done internally, right, before you got to this point? So what kind of work were you doing? What kind of things were you doing to personally develop yourself to get from this point a couple years ago thinking about going on a trip to here I am now going on a trip, booking the flights?
Yeah, it's not even just a trip. It's just like a long-term trip.
Yeah.
Like over 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Like most people will go away for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
like max. I want to go for 6. I'm going to be gone for like 6 or 8 weeks.
That's incredible.
So that's pretty long, and that's a really good question. But in the last couple of years, it's been my intention, and the type of work that I've been doing, I don't know. There's been a lot. Like I've taken a lot of courses, obviously, a lot of work, like personal development workshops, and I've done a lot of mind maps, and I've hired a coach, and I found that, especially this year, I think this year is the best example of the type of work that was important. Is the first 5 months of this year, or let's just say December to like May, everything was just like shut down. Like everything stopped.
Yeah.
For me, I could have chosen to, oh my gosh, like I need to pick it up and get the cash flow in and get, do deals. But I felt like I knew better this year. I felt like I knew better. I thought, the old me, or maybe the general populace might just, like find a job, try and produce money, income right away. for me, I had the resources, lucky enough, available to me to make a decision of the inner work comes first. Like, I truly believe that doing that personal development is going to be the most crucial. So the type of work I did was, number one, I re-evaluated, like, what do I really want for my life? Like, what is my true authentic vision? Because there's so many, like, and it changes, but I start noticing as I start as I start to know myself even more, how much garbage there was in my previous visions.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, wow, all
Mind
this stuff
maps changed a lot.
is not important. Like, I mind mapped, here's my dream car and dream house and dream this, and like this is what I want for myself 10 years from now, 5 years from now. And it's like, there's so much I don't care for anymore. And it feels good to not want as much, like just to need less. And what I value more is like experiences and growing and learning. And so I went into that route, and just I started to review like all of all the things that have happened. So all my notes from my coaching and all my notes from like my journals and different things like that, and just getting a good perspective, and kind of just getting out of my head, getting out of the loop, right? Because you could be in a loop about shit and just be thinking about the same things, feeling the same things over and over again. I needed to take the step back and kind of deconstruct it and break it down. And I had to, like, you don't have to go to this extent, but I came to to the blank slate.
Wow.
Like, I deconstructed all the way to the point where it's just like,
you deconstructed your life.
Let's start from scratch. Like, forget everything that's happened and where, whatever it is, just let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And let's go from there. And I guess the results that I've been able to achieve in the last 4 months, I can't even explain it. It's like double what I achieved in an entire year.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. And that's the type of inner work that I did. I mean, obviously I can go into a lot more detail, but it's much more just about, I was willing to make a decision, let go of the rent busters, which I didn't believe in. Because if I continued to do it without believing in it, why? What would that serve?
Yeah. What's the point?
I want to do something where it's like I'm building something. There's purpose. There is like, I'm happy about it. I'm fulfilled with it. I want to do the best. I want to be the best that I could be, and yeah, and now all these things that I've intended on, and all these things that I've manifested, it's like I had to get that stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, whatever that obstacle was, the decisions that had to be made, that lack of belief, and I had to do all that work to get to where I am right now, where it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I finally get it. It's like one of those moments, right, where it's just like, shit. Nick Batista, who's been on the show, he put a sick
post
status update today.
Yeah, I saw that.
He
I was
put,
just gonna mention that.
I've been self-employed for 7 years, and this is the first year that I actually get it. And I'm just like, oh, that is the coolest.
Yeah, that was good.
That's what I felt like today.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like today. And it felt like, oh my gosh, I proved it. And that's why it's like, that's why doing the podcast started unraveling around that time.
Yeah.
That's
when we started.
That's when all this room became available, where it's like, frig, if I do the work first
on
myself, and I believe it, and I know that I've chosen this, and everything comes together. That's it. And then everything else is just an effect. All the results, all the rewards, everything that comes afterwards is just secondary. It just comes.
Yeah.
It just comes.
It's the byproduct.
It's the byproduct. And that's what feels good, is that I was able to prove it in less than a year to myself. That everything I thought was the truth for the last couple of years, was important. And now it's just like, whoa, this is important now.
Yeah.
Because I haven't committed, it's scary to do that, I think, for a lot of people.
Fantastic. So that's a fantastic lesson. I mean, if your goal there is the money, and you don't do that work, and you don't do that work on yourself, and all you're thinking about is you're going to start a business for the money, you're starting from garbage.
Yeah.
Like, it's never going to work.
It's money oriented.
Yeah. And you're not doing the work on yourself, because if you work on yourself, you're not going to do things for the money.
Mm-hmm.
And you can apply just thinking about it, you can apply those things to sort of like all aspects of your life. If you want to be healthy, if you just want to work out to look good, it's not about looking good, right? If you look at yourself and you're like, no, I want to be healthy, I want I want vitality in my being, in my life, the effect will be you're going to work out, and the effect will be you're going to look good. It's just a byproduct. But if you go into it thinking, no, I just want to look good, I want the fucking six-pack abs.
Yeah, you want the outside first.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. You got to work on the inside first.
Doesn't
And
happen.
relationships, if you're just like, oh, I just want, I want this person because I can get something from this person. I want to meet that person just so that, they can freaking
Arm
invest,
candy.
or they can, just be a customer of mine. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
Right. If you work on yourself first, you're going to approach that person
In contribution. And,
in
and service.
win-win
and
in
value.
the service, and how can I help you, and there will be a relationship that builds.
And it's authentic.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
people, that's the thing, man. People are getting smarter now, right? Like, they're starting, like, I've read a couple of articles recently where they're talking about how just these big blockbuster films are not doing as well. Like, they're putting so much money into it and getting these great celebrities, and all these things don't turn into huge revenues anymore.
Yeah.
Because people don't fall for it anymore. They don't care about, well, they do care about it. Like, but it's just not the same. People want engagement. They want
a
real
story.
stories. They want
Yeah.
great acting. They want great writing. They want amazing directors. They want everything put together,
Yeah.
And it's like because people are getting smarter, and that's how customers are. Customers are getting smarter. They want more. They deserve more than just. So it's like, hey, I'm selling these selling these bottles. You want one of these? It's like, no. It's like they want value.
Yeah.
They want value.
That's a great point. And, just talking about the movies, thinking about it, yeah, a lot of these blockbusters, huge action films, they're putting all this in special effects. And then the movie, when you talk about that just pops into my mind, where it's not a huge budget, but it's just the story. Mm-hmm. Great story. Larry Crown.
Yeah.
Just a great story. You could see it's not a huge budget. Things aren't blowing up. Nobody's killing each other. Just fantastic story. Just really
amazing writing.
Great story. Very entertaining.
That's what it is, and people are becoming more drawn to that when it comes to the things that they want to consume, right? They want more from it.
Yeah.
So that means if you're an entrepreneur and you provide a service, you provide a product, whatever it is, you have to give them more.
Give them more.
And that means taking care of all of your shit. Like, when you do that work, like, you come from a place of you're confident, you feel good, you love what you do. You're happy about, working with this person. You're present, you're listening to them. You're not, dazed and there's no junk in your head about so much other crap. Like, you're there. You're present with your customer. You're present with your children. You're present in your relationship, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's because you've done that work.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man.
So you got to work on the inside first. Work on the inside first. Even if you got to take that time, like you did, months and months and months, and drill it down, break it down, chip it away, mold it, strip away the fat. It's there. The diamond is there in the rough.
Yeah.
You just got to go. You got to take the time to go find it.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? Everybody is. I think that, and that's what I'm excited for like all the people that we're meeting, is that they're starting to realize it, and it's not like this secret. You bring it up, everybody gets it. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man. Like, I want to be happy. Like, there's a new way to educate, our kids. We need a new way to organize society. We need a new way to do business with each other. We need a new way to relate to one another.
Yeah.
Like, people are coming and saying and realizing that things can be better. Life can be better. Business can be better. The way it is right now isn't the only way. The way you're doing business, the way you're living your life isn't the only way. You're not stuck there. You can do something about it. There is a better way, and there's other people who can help you get clarity and understand that.
Absolutely. Oh, great
Yeah.
point. Great point.
Awesome, man.
How we doing on time?
We're good.
We're still good? Oh, yeah, in about an hour. That's
Yeah.
good.
We say we start wrapping it up.
Sure, we can talk a little bit more. We got a little
Yeah.
bit of time. So tell us some of the other things. Any other things that, because we were talking about you today. So any other things?
Spotlight's on me.
Your business is progressing. You've got this yoga certification that you want to be doing. So health is progressing. Mm-hmm. What about your other interests? What's going on with the music?
With the music, oh god.
Because it's been a while. Nothing's been created.
Oh yeah.
There's stuff that's
it's just
created,
not
not recorded.
People aren't seeing it.
Okay, well,
A lot of it. People
You gotta
aren't
drip
seeing
it out there.
Yeah.
You know, Oliver Manalese was.
So it's kind of
Oliver
tough, right?
Gerard.
Like because this year has been so interesting with all of those obstacles. I started focusing again on my music just maybe 2 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
And
And,
you were doing stuff
And I was
regularly.
like putting stuff out on YouTube regularly, and this is just a lot of them were like old songs and then cover songs, and like starting to create new songs and kind of finding out like what is the new sound, like how do I want to deliver these new pieces, right? And then I formed a band just like almost a year ago, and we're called Save the Watchtower.
Save the Watchtower.
And we've been creating a lot of stuff, but just because of our schedules and all the crazy stuff that's happened, like it hasn't been a priority for all of us to like start doing gigs. We feel like we're like perfectionists, right? We want to work on our craft, and but we have like a lot of new songs.
Cool.
Like, we probably
Originals.
have originals.
Okay.
We're probably gonna do maybe a six song EP, but it's like a post classic type of rock sound.
Nice.
And the message of every single song is transformative, transformational, inspirational. Like that, those are the lyrics. It's all about self knowledge, and
Great.
that's consistent in everything that I like to talk
That you
about.
do, yeah.
You
It's a
know,
consistent
so the
theme of your
music,
life.
yeah. So the music, the solo project. I just need, like for me, it's like I needed to get rid of, like, make those important business decisions, and then build up my reserves again, and then I can throw it into, some studio time and getting that stuff recorded and mastered
cool.
for my solo project. All the songs are done. I just need to practice them out and like refine them just a little bit, but they're all pretty much done, my solo stuff, so I can record them and have that solo EP done. But the band stuff, like I want to get that recorded as well.
Nice.
Probably in the next 12 months.
Wow.
That'll get recorded. It's just one thing at a time, right? Like I gotta get this stuff out of my system. Like the traveling, it's not gonna be out of my system forever, but like
Those are the priorities
such an
that you,
important thing.
you
Yeah,
know, yeah, those are the things
traveling
that you
is
set
on
up higher.
top. Traveling is on top.
Get those things done
Music is second. Yeah,
for now.
yeah. For now, yeah. I love like music will always be a love, but it's just like I need this for myself. Like there's things that like it'll help everything. Like it'll help the host entrepreneur. It'll help in business. It'll help in the music. It'll help by traveling. Like
Right.
by
Yeah.
getting that done, by achieving that, and
By growing through
by
your travel.
growing through my travel and all the discoveries that I make on my travels, that's gonna show up in all these other areas, and it's gonna show up in these conversations.
Absolutely.
It's one of
You'll
those
be a different
things.
person.
Yeah.
Different person. That's awesome.
So that's what I'm really excited about, and
So look out for that.
stepping
Next
outside
12
of my
months. Save the clock tower. Save the watchtower.
Save the Watchtower.
6 song EP.
Yeah, 6-song EP.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I got my own YouTube channel. If you could check it out, it's Oliver Gerard on YouTube.
Nice. Are they the pages aren't linked?
Save the
Oh, yeah.
Watchtower. Oh yeah. On the YouTube channel for Holistic Entrepreneur, I think it's linked.
Yeah, it
or
should be
Meridius
linked.
Media, I think it's linked.
Or it should be liked.
Yeah, it should be
Thing
linked. It'll
on
be
the
there.
Holistic Entrepreneur page. You'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able to find it. If you go on the Facebook page, you'll
Yeah.
be able to find it. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so anything else? Any other things? So you are going on the yoga certification. What are the plans for that? because you seem to have a pretty full schedule.
Oh, I know, man.
So you're doing business. We're doing the show. You're doing your music. You want to put out 6-song EP.
I looked like the most distracted person.
Then now a yoga certification.
I feel like none of them overlap. You know,
Different areas, absolutely.
Yeah, but they do. They do and
It's
they
all
don't.
encompassing.
You know, they don't and they do. The yoga certification, I got into yoga like a couple of years ago because of P90X. You know, Tony Horton doing his Yoga X video. And I didn't really like it too much. Like, I found it to be the hardest one, so that's why I liked it back then. I liked doing the hardest ones because I knew, like, if I was pissed off, like, I was breaking something. I was destroying something, right? But when I started doing hot yoga and meeting really good teachers and getting, you know, doing really good classes, I started to get addicted.
Nice.
And now it's like there is another level of yoga that I need to get to, and I feel like I need to expand my practice and just be more aware. And as from what I understand from all the feedback from other people who are teachers, is that a lot of it is self-development. A lot of it is personal development and going through a lot of stuff. And that's the entire yoga course is so you. It's all you. And so that draws me to it, right? The teaching, I don't know, maybe I'll teach a class or two. That's not really what the point is. The point is for me to like get a deeper understanding of yoga, because I know yoga is not just the physical practice of it. There's so many more aspects about yoga that make it what it is.
Right.
The philosophies behind it, the reasons why, and the meditation and all of that stuff. I want to study that stuff. I want to be in another country while I do it.
Yeah.
And I also want to learn surfing while I do it as well.
Awesome.
So I could get all these different things done at the same time. But yeah, I don't know. There's an addiction I have with it, and it makes me not want to do any type of other workout right now. Like it's everything else just seems boring to me.
Right.
Whereas like yoga, I get so much different fulfillment out of it. I feel like going running again because I was reminded by Brendan Brazier. I listened to a podcast of him. He wrote Thrive, and he was talking about how when he goes running, that's when a lot of his ideas happen.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot. Like when you're out like running for 30 minutes, the stuff that you think about and go through your head and your body's moving, and there's just something about it, right? There's something about being in movement, being that hypnosis about it, being in nature and running, and like your brain starts thinking and you process stuff and you analyze stuff and you make decisions, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot about that value. Remember we used to go running together?
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes me want to do it again. Just remembering, like not even for the workout, but just for that, like
that space in your mind.
Yeah. So I don't know, like that kind of makes me want to do it again and commit to it again. I don't know,
Maybe
man.
we can start running again. We can do that.
That's where I'm split up. Where it's like I do yoga 3-4 times a week. To add other stuff is like, fuck, that's too much.
Half hour.
Yeah, run. I don't know. Paddleboarding is fun.
Paddleboarding. Yeah,
we went paddleboarding again.
We went paddleboarding just the other day. That was fun. That was a good trip.
Now I know I really want to have one.
Yeah.
Or at least I'll go splitsies on one with somebody.
Yeah, Johnny wants one too.
Yeah.
Sean wants one too. Yeah, but the paddleboarding is, there's nothing like being on the water like that. That's so cool. Mm-hmm. Water, you feel the water under your feet, under the board, and you're paddling. Silence, the energy, the negative ions of the water.
Yeah. The water, just being near the water does so much.
Yeah.
You know, for I think that's for everybody. I think that's universal.
Yeah.
Like just being near the water.
Water, life.
Yeah.
So much.
Something about it, right?
Energy.
Well, we're 80-90% water, our bodies.
Well, it was cool. We were on Lake Ontario. We actually paddled to Toronto Island.
Yeah. It was such a short. That wasn't
that long at all. I thought it was a lot farther.
I thought it was far. That was really weird how it felt.
Yeah, I thought Toronto Island was the other
one that we were looking at. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's funny. I didn't know that
either.
Yeah,
but it was cool. So we were paddleboarding. We crossed over, I guess, the little channel that separates the two. right at the end, and it was so cool. We were overlooking the landscape of the city, CN
That
Tower,
was beautiful, guys.
Rogers Center Sky Dome. Beautiful to be able to see it from that vantage point, because
Yeah.
you don't see it from that vantage point.
Yeah,
you're
always
in the
on
middle
the
of the lake.
road, or you're like always like in the city,
Yeah.
or you're like far
Yeah, it's a very unique vantage point that
in the water.
maybe a couple of hundred of people have ever seen
Yeah.
from that vantage point.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It seems like it's the like it's such an urban jungle,
Yeah,
Some people hate like urbanization and all that, but it's just like, you know what? That's what it is. It's like that's what life creates.
yeah,
Like that's what there's people there, like that's what it is. And there's something about being a holistic entrepreneur and 7:30 in the morning
7:30
on a Wednesday being on a stand-up paddleboard in the water.
Yeah,
Like
and we were out for
That's-
a long time too.
yeah, that is what was cool is when you finally make that jump to full-time entrepreneurship, you realize that you have so much control over your time.
Yeah,
Test your bounds. Test your boundaries with all of your stuff, and then understand what your limits are, and get a foothold and control on it, but understand that you can do whatever you want.
yeah.
And that's cool to be.
So it was very cool.
Everyone else is driving to work. We're driving to the beach.
We're driving to the beach. That was pretty cool.
That's a cool feeling.
Yeah, that is something I think that we've sort of adopted.
Kept
is
grateful
doing.
for.
Yeah, we're always very grateful, and we always try to keep up with doing those little things, getting together. And we went as a family. My family, and you, of course, being part of the family. We went as a family. My brother, the kids. So it was cool to be able to take that time to be able to do stuff like that. And you can do that as an entrepreneur, and as a holistic entrepreneur, you share those experiences. So we all are all entrepreneurs. We decided, we got to take the time to do those things, because what's the point of being an entrepreneur, and how could we call ourselves holistic entrepreneurs if we're not going to take the time to do things like this?
Yeah, we're doing
on a
it.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah, we don't just talk about this crap.
Yeah, we're not just talking about it. I mean, we're
Like,
out there 7:30
Yeah.
on Wednesday morning in the middle of Lake Ontario
Yeah.
on paddleboards.
I firmed up on a real estate deal that afternoon.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I tied up a couple, large. So
That's it. That's good.
that's what happens when
That's-
you're a holistic entrepreneur. It's like, should I feel guilty for being on a stand-up paddleboard when I should be really working? No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not, because
Exactly.
this is
Why
what I
would you
said was important to me and what I value, and this is what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
it's aligned. If you don't make those distinctions, if you don't know these things about yourself, what your values are, what's important to you, you're gonna get that guilt. You're gonna feel guilty.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel negative.
I
It's
should
gonna-
be making calls, or I should be sending,
You're not present.
emailing.
You're not present anymore, and it all
And
goes
it's all
away.
about the business. And
I
then,
know.
because if you're doing that, then it's all about the money.
Yeah,
Can't be that way.
totally.
Whew.
Yeah,
Good combo.
good show,
Where are
man.
we?
So-
It's just after 11.
Next week we have Andrew McDonald, president of ownershipsolutions.ca. This is someone that we've personally worked with and helped him start his business a year ago. And he's still operating it right now. And recently he made some important decisions about his life, like we were referring to during the beginning of the show. And he will be on next week to
You'll
share
have
his
to tune in
story
next week.
in detail.
Fantastic story.
If you want to hear the story of how to get out of your job, get out of your head, and get out of your job, this is the show for you.
Yeah, 'cause
You-
this is
everyone can
fresh.
relate, yeah.
This is
Just happened.
literally last week.
Yeah.
Literally last week, where he made that decision. He made that choice.
Yeah.
So it's fresh.
Yeah. Completely.
We're getting
completely.
him fresh.
Yeah, we're gonna have him raw,
fresh out of the
uncensored.
corporation.
Yeah, fresh out of it.
Yeah, freshly out of the matrix.
I know. So imagine,
Unplugged.
I'm sure you can relate, wanting to be out of your job so badly, hating what the company that you're at, knowing how much potential you have, and knowing that you could achieve so much with your ideas and your business, and just every day not do anything about it. Not do anything about it.
And
Not do anything
stewing
about it.
in that
In
thought.
that
those
thought, that poison, that toxic.
poison, the toxin.
And Michelle always says, you're in your own diarrhea.
Yeah.
In a pool, in a bathtub filled with your own diarrhea when you're doing that stuff.
Dirty.
That's where Andrew was. He was at that point where he was just on the fence, couldn't make that leap. And he'll be on the show to share his experience.
How he's able to... Yeah. It was inside. He had to work on the inside first.
Yeah. He had to work on the inside first. We're going to deconstruct this guy.
It's going to be a good show. We'll have a lot to talk about.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Cool, man.
Cool. So, we're good?
Yeah, we are good.
Fantastic. Excellent show.
Always
today.
a pleasure, brother. We'll see you guys soon. Make sure to like our page on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. Full episodes are on Meridius Media channel on YouTube. And make sure to share the videos if you find value in them.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, share.
Comment.
Absolutely.
I will see you guys soon.
See you guys.